It's a coming, it's a shaking. What's a bacon? We're live.
We are live.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is in fact Wednesday. The only day of the week that starts with a W, which is a bit
Yes.
confusing. And, well, only for people who have irrational fears of the letter W. Hey, beautiful
There's
people,
one
what's
W
going on?
and one F. I'm sure there's a joke to be made there, but it's Wednesday, so I'm not gonna make
Hey
it.
man, when I think WWF, I think about pandas holding up chairs, folding chairs, man. The Wildlife
Jelly
Wrestling
Bean.
Federation. What's up, everyone? We are definitely getting ready for another weekly Daily Wednesday. Almost
I was telling-
in time for a Too Spooky for You edition.
Yes, we're getting close, aren't we?
By a day, yeah.
That's one of the reasons Steve and I wanted to get married October 1st. We thought October was a fun month. But yeah, I was telling Pedro how I got electrocuted one time by a old industrial studio light at college. It was from the 60s. And I didn't notice, but I guess rats had been chewing on the cord, and it was bare on one on the part of the cord that I grabbed, and that was the first time I had a pretty good electric shock.
Well, at least you didn't finish that. Was the guy didn't notice it was a bear on the part of the cord I was chewing on.
No, no. I'm like,
But
oh
it's so
boy,
delicious.
I called the campus police, and they came in and got it out. And
You called the fuzz on a light?
well, that's what you did at the college. That's what you do.
Oh, and now we find out who the real rat is.
Yeah.
But no, because see, maintenance, you have
That's
to do
it, man. With
you
Jill,
know,
if something electrocutes
It
Jill,
was-
she's going to call the cops on it.
well, the maintenance people, they take several days to get to something because you have to put in your ticket, and do that whole thing. With the police, it happens immediately, so you just call them. So, and we had that's what the campus police, would tell us to call if there's malfunctions or anything to call us. So,
Yeah.
at school, not normal circumstance, but our on-site campus police.
What's going on with that gif? It looks like a diseased thigh master.
You always say the same thing.
Because it
Yeah,
does.
Yeah, speaking of that, my brother, when he was a little baby, I think like 1 year old, and was already tinkering with electronics, put a screwdriver in the socket at the house, and it had orange juice on it, I believe.
That's a lot to unpack, Jill. Give me a minute.
That story has layers.
It does.
It's been a minute since I've rendered myself unconscious with electricity. It's probably... I get a good... I'm not going to start bragging.
Oh, yeah, I bet you got some bad ones.
Fine.
I don't
Check
know.
these out.
I've never been unconscious from a shock. Ooh, light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came
these are those,
close, but that was it.
USB ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like this ring light. Only it's not a ring, it's a rectangle.
Look at the blind you LEDs at it.
Yeah. Those are the nice ones.
Can I get that back
You
in
can
there?
swap diffusers if you want RGB.
They came with that. My favorite thing, reading the reviews on these little things. I got these for interfacing Linux, just so I don't have to break out the big lights.
Mm-hmm.
And people were using these for
This one again, Eric.
floodlights and stuff
Darren.
like that.
I love this
And they
one.
were putting the diffusers in, cranking them all the way up. And they're like, they melt. Yeah.
You don't say. How many LEDs is that? 50?
Something like that. And I have diffusers that don't melt, but they're thick. These are not thick. Both, it's 2-pack of lights, kids, and $30. Come on.
Heat mass.
Yeah, you cut these on, you do the shot, and you cut them off. These aren't for like permanent.
I might as well go take a break now.
You got 5 minutes.
Okay. There is the pizza clock. Pizza.
1 minute stop
curious,
being the poop clock.
Well, that was always a fun joke clock too. It took people some time. They're like, wait a minute, it reset.
It only had like 30 seconds on the GIF. Yeah.
It was more than that. It was more devious than that. It was like almost 2 minutes. It counted down long enough to where you quit paying attention to it. Let me see what the weather is. That's 22 degrees. That's not too bad.
That's about what it is here.
That's about where you want it, man. Like 22 overcast.
Not with 95% humidity, it isn't.
I live in 95% humidity, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, you walk outside, it's 22, you think, oh yeah, no, it's gonna be nice. Just a t-shirt, that's fine.
It can be cool in the house, and you're like, nope. I go shut down all the windows. Like, get the HVAC on. Let's dry this place out.
And inertia, maybe I haven't really lived until I've knocked myself out with an electric shock, but the closest I got was when I was a kid. My parents' house was still being built, and there was an exposed ground wire that I didn't know anything live was connected to it. Hell, I didn't even know that it was a ground wire. I know now because I remember it being yellow and green. But yeah, that was supposed to be the bit that connected everything else to ground in the house, and it was just a big copper chunk exposed. Electrician dude was right across the room from me. He didn't hear anything, he didn't see anything, so I got up very slowly, walked away.
I know this is before I was forming like permanent memories. I know my mom told me it was like a row of like screw-in lights for like decorations or something like that. And I might have been like one or something like that. And it was plugged in. I put my finger at it. Because she was like, oh, everyone was like, oh, no, it's not. And he's like, I'll figure it out. And it bit me. Then she went back to step because she was like, you got angry at it and poked it again.
Ooh, that's a tingling sensation. Ooh, that's a tingling sensation.
It's like, wow, that explains a lot about me, doesn't it? I'll teach it.
Yeah, if it's just the one finger, it's fine. It'll zap you, but it's okay. It's like across the finger, that's fine. If you put two, one on each hole, then it's a problem.
They really should. There should be a universal standard for like color coding with power and ground. Oh man, I remember the first time I pulled out my Blaupunkt built-in radio in my Porsche. This is like green and brown.
Guess German.
Difficulty kids. No internet. I had to call my brother and I'm like, what is this nonsense? No, there might be. No one adheres to it. I think most of us were just used to catch-up cables. You know, black, brown, red, hot, yellow. I don't know, maybe fan control. I don't know what's going on there. Let's get the voltmeter out. What are you?
Yeah, black and red, and some blue and brown in others. Because Portugal also has to be different. Hi, Commodin? There's only the one M. So.
I got faith in you, man. You'll work your way through it.
So that's a thick laptop is what I'm seeing there, Justin.
Pretty much.
If it can fit earbuds in it, that's a thick laptop. Color coding. It's in black and white.
Yeah, love it.
There we go. Blue and brown. There it is.
I've encountered some helpful stuff. Like, really? Okay. Guess time. That's when you start trying to match the shade patterns.
Welcome and hello, Commodon. Commodin.
Come on, there's one pronunciation you still haven't hit.
Yeah.
I was having that same difficulty.
You were cool.
See, but that's got two M's, so that's Commodore.
Yes.
That's loaded. That's loaded. That's loaded. And we got a 3-shot. Yay. All right.
Commodin, the bootleg of Commodore. That's good, Arthur.
Are you going to behave, auto scroll? You're threatening too. That's good enough for me. We'll find out. Right then. And yeah, I think we can do a show. You want to give it a shot? You want to try it?
Yes, yes.
Laptops
Is
have
that the new
changed,
X1
man.
Carbon? Oh, it's the X1 Nano.
I remember as a kid, my mom had a laptop with a CD under the keyboard. You push the keyboard down, raised up, had a CD drive under the keyboard. Because that made sense.
Like, you lift the palm rest to reveal the...
There was a laptop that you just pushed down on the keyboard. It had a light, like a push latch, and the keyboard raised up,
okay.
and there was a disk drive under it. And
Did they know? Well, I guess it was the early days of laptops, so they probably didn't know. No.
They were all different, man. It was a moon device simply because it had a CD drive in it. What? All right. Let's kick this thing over.
Oh, my first Acer laptop had so many issues.
I remember the first time I saw a color screen on a laptop. I was like, what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're locked and loaded. And let's get that recording. That's recording. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a thing, kids. Buckle up.
Hey.
Can't figure out if I want to keep my sleeves up or down. It's temperature regulation. Like,
Yeah, Ben was saying it's a
But I
little
don't have
chilly
any
today.
buckles.
But it'll get warm in here by the end, so.
Yeah, you'll be hot. Hot boy.
I'm always hot. What are you talking about? And welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, where we can sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the stranger things, the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, everything else. I'm Vince Stone, joined every week by Joe Bryant and Pedro Montes, and everyone at home watching us live after the fact, listening on demand, all that fun stuff. Hey everyone, what's going on? What's new? I had an adventure. I'll tell you about it in just a second. But as is always, Pedro writes nothing down, so he's a mystery. What have you been up to?
Mostly work, and I have to go into the office again tomorrow, and which is sort of apropos because at work today, I was told that while everyone else is getting a very nominal fee for, you know, the COVID disruption, it's that seems to exclude people that have been going into the office, like myself and the rest of the IT team here in Cambridge. So we're not particularly happy right now with the NHS. at all.
Always full of joy. How about you, Jill?
Oh boy, I'm sorry, Pedro. Government is always never so friendly at times. Yeah. So tomorrow is Steve and I's ninth wedding anniversary. Although we've been together a lot longer, but I am looking forward to it. It's a milestone in our relationship and wonderful. It's been a wonderful ride. And he's been getting me things. And one is this little item for my computer tech bench. And it is so cute. It is a penguin screwdriver set. How unique is that? I had to have it. It has it has the little hole that you put the different screw heads or the bits, and it's magnetic, and it actually works really well. I was testing it yesterday, and I can put the little bits in there, and they even store in the penguin's body. So it's really, really cute. I mean,
okay. I was gonna ask if it, yeah.
Yeah. So you can use it on its little iceberg or in the body. And it's just very cute. I had to show that off. So unique.
Is truly horrifying. I'm speechless.
No, if it was Saturday, I would have more comments about that, but no. No.
Have fun with the penguin screwdriver floating through your nightmares, kids.
Oh.
Man.
So cute.
I had to go on a bit of an adventure. I finally picked up a Focusrite device, the Sapphire Pro 40. It's sitting back here in the rack. I'm like, hello, we're using it right now. This is the part where I test it, because we're going to tell anybody if something works, it's going to go trial by fire, man. And man, this is why I do a show called Interfacing Linux, which is, I'm just trying to backlog some stuff and like, hey, let's get some documentation on some things. This is why I do the show, because I kid you not, I found out things about this device that only quoted searches in Google reveal. And what it reveals is like mailing list from almost a decade ago that I'm digging through, looking for images that are only available currently with a Wayback Machine.
As thumbnails.
As thumbnails. Yeah. Slides. I was talking with Pedro earlier. I was trying to figure out the routing matrix, and I found, just the thumbnail that was embedded in a page that was written in French. So I'm hard mode on top of this, and I'm going through it, and I'm like, okay, I think I need to reconfigure my matrix like that. Couldn't read it. It wasn't high enough resolution. So it was just like pixel pattern blurs. So I was doing a screenshot of my matrix, squishing it down in GIMP and trying to figure out which settings matched the pattern of the pixels, which I did manage to get it to work. But more on that at 11. I'll have the information together on that later. But it's always a fun adventure. We do have some good news. I know we were talking Saturday about in the pre super shows. It's like, dude, do you update your firmware on your devices in Linux? Which I rolled back. It's like, outside of my Blackmagic hardware, hey. But I think we're alone in that, according at least to the GNOME blog.
Yeah.
Go on, Jill. It's yours.
Yay, we have laptops to show. But the Linux vendor firmware service has just reached a huge milestone. They've had 20 million downloads strong. And there's probably more than that, but they can't necessarily detect them all because of business accounts and whatnot. But this is really, really huge. And, for a lot of us that have used, the firmware updater application in Ubuntu and other distros, we know how important it has been to us for updating our BIOS firmware to firmware for mice and keyboards and all the important things. Lots of important things.
And mice and keyboards are the big one that are still not there.
Where are you at, though? Because that's something we brought up is I've installed that utility. I've installed the GUI for it. I'm like, oh, look at this living in the future. And
Yeah.
it listed off a few of my SSDs. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not.
If you're doing a fresh install, by all means, do update your SSDs.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. If you're like Nuke and Pave, yeah, I saw that. I wanted to get a color hug. I don't have a color hug because they were never in stock when I was trying to get a hold of one. But
Yeah. Well, that's why Richard Hughes started the Linux vendor firmware service in the first place, is because he wanted drivers for his color hug color optimization calibration device for monitors. And, that's something he needed. And without his tireless work with the LVFS and vendors, desktop Linux would not definitely be where it is today. His hard work.
It's just me being the usual negative Nancy, but remember when System 76 wasn't going to use FWUPD and LVFS?
Oh, yes.
Because they were working on something that was going to be so much better, and they got into a bit of a spat with Richard Hughes.
yeah, Pedro, tell me about it.
We covered it on the show
Oh,
Yes.
several hundred episodes ago, but yes.
several hundred. He says on episode 200.
Well,
Yeah.
about 100 episodes ago.
That's good
So
news. I'm happy to see it. It's a thing,
Yeah.
and try it. I'm not brave enough to mess. But then again, this is me. I have a very strict "not broke, don't fix" policy. So laptops makes perfect
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. And without he really created the framework for the vendors to now be putting Linux on their machines. He helped create that framework, and including the story we're going to talk about in just a few minutes with Lenovo.
Well, definitely keeping up with, we were talking about updating firmware on especially drives these days, SSDs and Vimeas and all that. But okay, well, let's just go ahead and take a look at this. I want to talk about scrutiny, man. What is scrutiny? No, it's not that thing that you have, what you should have. It's a smart monitoring historical trends and real world failure thresholds. It monitors all that fun stuff. And look at that. It even has hipster glasses as a logo. That's so cool. So this is a web UI that's going to pull off Smart D, and you can just pull it up through a browser and like monitor your remote servers. Hey, that like box that you have on the other side of the room. Yeah, that one. Now, I think this is neat, but personally, I'm living in electric SSD land, so I don't really pay attention to smart. I was like, that's a suggestion. Hey, it's pre-fill, but I just put it, took it out of the box. Pre-fill. I'm like, oh, whatever. This is cool, man. I mean, if you just rather, have a web UI for it. I didn't get a chance to play with it mainly because I got to the point and was going, how do I get this installed? Oh.
Yes.
To be fair, there was a thing about usage. It's like, oh, Docker exec. Nope, never mind. We're good.
That's where I got. Then I was like, well, how do you install manually without Docker? Then he was like, well,
Shrug emoji.
we're working on that. Are we getting old, Pedro? Do we need to tell the kids to be gone from our lawn? I'm like, no, we're not using a container to install an application.
That's the thing. Like you've said many times, containers make sense in an environment that you need that thing to be working, and you need it to stay working, and you don't want it futzing around with everything else on the system. That's what containers are for. That's what containers should be used for. I guess if you're using this to monitor, but it is pretty rough around the edges, so you probably shouldn't be using it to monitor your production device. If you're just using it to play around with it, yeah, give us an app image. Seriously.
No.
Use app images.
Docker. Come on, Grandpa.
I'm not installing Docker on my desktop. I'm sorry. I'm not.
If I had some spinny disks that were still spin up, I'd definitely play with this. One of the advantages and possibly disadvantages of SSD is usually they're working one day and not the next.
It's usually the controller that goes.
It's going to be the controller that dies. However, the good news is, like I did. Just mentioning this story probably has you in a disk utility or just pulling up your smart data. You're like, I wonder how bad my drives are. They're probably fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is really wonderful for server side. I could have used it back in the days of big render farms that I had to set up. And what I thought was cool is in the scrutiny YAML file, you can send push notifications via Discord, Telegram, Slack, Teams, and many other social networks. So I thought that was ingenious. That's going to be a great utility for IT.
Well, I like the ability to have this set up and just log in over the web. So you're like, boop. All right,
Yeah.
there it is. It's thing.
It's very clearly like the final goal heal?
I don't even know what you did there, man.
The final goal here is to have this be easily deployable in servers and, that type of situation. Yeah, but they say it's a work in progress, still rough around the edges. Okay. I'll wait.
Go play with it. There'll be a link in the show notes. And hey, we mentioned Lenovo was doing some stuff with desktops a while back, a couple episodes ago. And it looks like they're finally rolling out that laptop initiative.
Yeah. So, we talked about in July about Ubuntu 2004 LTS being certified to run on Lenovo laptops and workstations. Now, those laptops and workstations will be selling with Ubuntu 2004 pre-installed. And this is really huge. This includes the ThinkPad T series, the X series, the L series, the P series.
Hang on. We got to give
and
a rating.
ThinkStations.
We have to give a rating to the
of the
photoshopped
or gimped picture.
No, that one's
the
bad.
lighting's a little off. Yeah.
Well,
the lighting. Look at the table.
What about
where
the keyboard?
monitor is standing?
The keyboard's wrong. The lighting on the mouse is wrong. The reflection.
Yeah, the angles are wrong.
Yeah, it's like that monitor slightly tilted forwards.
Yeah, that's what I meant. The lighting on the monitor is wrong. The angle's wrong.
Big frightening thing that gives away any of the lighting issues is the reflection under the case.
Yeah.
Come
on, that was polished to a mirror shine. What are you talking about?
Okay, refraction doesn't exist in this world. But okay, as you were, Jill.
Yeah. So Lenovo knows its Linux user base, and whether it's be for AI development, cloud, desktop, and of course that is growing. And we love our ThinkPads. ThinkPads are the most loved and used laptops in Linux
Lenovo,
community.
I could save you some time on this part of the page. You could just want all of them.
Yes. Which laptops are supported? Yes.
Yes, lots of them. So I have one here. This is my favorite. This is the smallest one. This is the X130E series. That's 11.6-inch screen. It's the smallest ultra portable laptop that they made, and it's one of my favorites in my collection. I have several ThinkPads, and I know Pedro does as well. And Linux just runs beautifully on them, and they are so easy to upgrade and work on. Putting in new SSD drives or adding RAM. All the hardware is easily accessible, and it's the favorite laptop of a lot of Linux users, including those at the Southern California Linux Expo, where it is the #1 laptop seen there in use.
Oh, it's no longer MacBooks?
No, well, the funny thing is that at scale, the MacBooks were never as prominent. At other community Linux community conventions, they were, but not at scale. We've always had and IBMs and Dells and Lenovo's everywhere.
So I did notice that Lenovo
Macs.
launched their, I posted it on my Twitter last night, pre-orders, or it might just be regular orders for their new single screen foldable laptop.
Yeah.
No keyboard.
That's sweet.
13-inch screen on the top, screen on the bottom. It's a sandwich. It's a little thing. A bun. I was like, oh, that's neat. Maybe I could. Oh, look at that. It starts at $2,200.
Yeah.
Gen 1, man.
Yeah.
I look forward to that product segment in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and it'll be nice to have someone else out there in the market to give Dell a bit of a run for their money when it comes to, having a nice selection of Linux laptops and desktops because it's the ThinkPads and the ThinkStations. But unfortunately, in my opinion anyway, an X1 Carbon is not an XPS competitor. It's just not. The XPS is so much nicer. Those are really nice laptops. And Dell, ever since they moved the camera back up to, the top of the monitor where it should have never left from. But yeah, no, there's just no competition.
I want you to focus on the bright side, Pedro, though. But once you've established a business case of why at work you have to have a Linux laptop, and they're like, okay, fine, we're going to get you one. It's going to be supported. And you're like, yes, okay, this is the System 76 I would like. I'm like, oh, here's the Lenovo that you're getting.
Or the Dell.
Or the Dell.
Yeah.
That's always good to see, though, man. The more the merrier, I think. And just,
yep.
When they originally launched this, they had this is for computational and science. We understand a lot of researchers and stuff need Linux on, desktops and something. And just being open, wider availability of like, hey, everyone, you can run this. So that's brilliant. But we're done talking about laptops.
Except for the Slimbook, or in this case, the Elementary OS image for the Slimbooks.
Do they really sell that monitor?
Yes.
Apple gonna sue somebody.
Yeah, it's that's Slimbook's whole thing. Even that one laptop that they sent me was very much trying to ape the MacBook Air. And it was their fault for doing that. That's why I didn't like it very much. But if you'd like to test the current image for Elementary's image for Slimbooks, you can if you've already paid the money. So at this point, I'm just going to wait. If they decide to, properly support it, properly come out with it and make it publicly available, I'll give it a try. I don't have a Slimbook proper to test it with, but I will absolutely give it a shot. But yeah, it's Slimbook. It's what they do besides rebadging Calivos like everyone else is they are a Spanish-based Linux laptop and desktop and apparently iMac looking AIOs.
Well, Pedro, what do you think the Portuguese version would look like?
Bunch of cardboard, sticky tape.
I like the looks of them, man. I don't know so much about that monitor, but hey.
Yeah.
No, they are actually that one right next to the iMac lookalike is that very same model that we've seen Tuxedo and System 76 release the U variant Ryzen's laptops.
But it makes perfect sense. I mean, you brought up System 76. That's how you got to do it, and you can't roll right out of the gate and just start designing your own laptops.
No. And Calivos are pretty good to rebadge because they don't care.
Yeah. Well, one thing I love that Elementary OS is doing is that they're targeting their OS at laptops in the $400 to $600 range, which is really the sweet spot. Slimbook, both Slimbook and Star Labs laptops both have those price ranges, and it really. I was just thinking about it, and it really makes sense with the popularity that Elementary OS has had with new Linux users to have lower priced hardware to start with. And we need more laptops in that price point. It's great.
Come on, we got to buy the foldable $2,000 Tinker devices.
XPS, X1 Carbon,
That's one thing that's never changed, man. Being able to jump $2,000 on a laptop is just as easy now as it was in the beginning.
Yeah.
So
you can go crazy right now.
There's
Thanks,
always
Raisin.
that. Yeah.
So Windows subsystem for Linux, you look at that and you're like, man, that's a little too mainstream for my taste. I want to go with something a little more old school. DOS Linux. Run Linux programs on DOS. And you're like, okay, you got me. How about DOS subsystem for Linux? Yeah. A WSL alternative for users who prefer MS-DOS environments. DOS subsystem for Linux integrates a real Linux environment. in MS-DOS, allowing the user to make use of both DOS and Linux applications from, wait for it, a DOS command prompt. Yeah. Yo, dog.
Yay.
It's a DOS prompt that accepts Linux commands. I think that's someone's wet dream right there.
What are your thoughts on this, Pedro? Because when I first saw them, I was like, is this memes? I mean, is there a practical application for this?
Look, like I said, I'm pretty sure someone has been dreaming. They've been foaming at the mouth for years to get something like this going. Mm-hmm. And this just, yeah.
Yeah.
That person is really happy right now.
Those are people who want to use the backslash instead of the /.
Yes.
And to me, this is, instead of DOS MU for Linux, the application, this is Linux MU for DOS. And now you can run Doom Linux in DOS. Think about that.
The only times I think about it is like, how many times have you been on a Windows command prompt and hit LS?
Yes, I do that all the time. Yeah.
A bit of little trivia here as someone who unfortunately has to do a bit of PowerShell. LS works in PowerShell.
Yeah, it does now, yes. That's true.
Because they just looked at Bash and said, oh, that's neat. We're going to do that, but worse. And they did.
This is weird. This is weirder. I like this. This is, I don't know. This is a problem in search of a solution. My favorite type of thing. So, this, however, up next, could possibly be a solution to, well, for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's certainly an improvement on what is currently available and known as TMUX. This is 3MUX. It's basically, if the name doesn't immediately give it away, it's TMUX with i3 key bindings. So if you're used to using the i3 tiling window manager, you know exactly what you need to do to split the terminal windows and arrange them in the right position, switch between them, do all of that. This will do it. And that's not a bad thing. If we're being honest, making TMUX a bit, friendlier and have a key binding scheme that's recognizable, at least by people who are familiar with i3, that's all good in my opinion.
Come on, Pedro. I love looking at this because I see the efficiency in the workflow. It allows me to lie to myself and say that it would prevent me from having 20 plus virtual terminals open on my desktop.
Not at first, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
If you start using it and you start getting used to it, your brain starts to remember, wait a second, I don't actually need to open a new window. I could just do like Control-Shift-8. Boom, done.
Dude, okay, that's right up there with like how long have we had tabbed virtual terminals?
Yes, but the tabs are inconvenient because you still have to switch between tabs, so it's much easier to switch between a
Ladies
window
and gentlemen,
than a
boys
tab.
and girls, Pedro's still in the lying to himself phase.
No, I'm actually using console. I've given up on Terminator now because console just does all the window splitting at the split terminals with, simple key combination. And it's all there. It's all on screen. I don't need to switch between windows to see the different outputs of things. I can just have them running. That's good.
Nice. Well, I like the fact that it's using key bindings like the i3 window tiling manager. And this is really great if you're using Pop! OS and i3 mode or Rogalith Linux distros and its i3 integration. And, this is really cool. I'm actually thinking that this will, 3MUX might make me switch from extra term, which I've been using for years. So I think this is really cool and convenient. And I already know all the i3 key bindings, so it's perfect.
Yeah. It's just making something like TMUX that much more user-friendly. I'm 100% behind that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I need a GUI for my terminal. Wait, we did learn. That was a great, wait a minute. Emojis?
Yes.
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 That was a
emojis are in the terminal now.
Right.
Yeah, and Arthur that was saying in chat, console and Tilix rules. Yes, I love them too. There's actually so many good consoles that fit this description.
The best
But-
console
Use cool
is
retro
the one you
term.
have. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do that. That's
love cool retro
128
term.
megabytes. of
LCD
dependencies.
burn-in.
and the classic E-term from Enlightenment. That's still one of my favorites.
So, what is Record RTC, Jill?
Yeah, this is really interesting and really awesome. It's Record RTC is a WebRTC JavaScript library and extensions for audio video recording of your camera, screen, and mic audio. And it can be used on a server or locally or just from the web link posted in the article. And it was really, really easy to use. It even worked on in Android on Chrome and Firefox on my phone. And I tested it on Chrome, Opera, Firefox, and Firefox on Linux and on Ubuntu, and it worked beautifully there. And what's really cool about it is you can record not just your classic 1080p or 720p or 480p, but also Ultra HD resolution, as well as 60 frames per second, and PCM audio, high quality PCM audio. So I was really impressed with this utility. And once you record the video, you can save your video to disk, or you can also upload it to YouTube. And you can use the scripts to bring in several cameras at once. I was reading through some of the scripts and some of the neat things people were doing with Record RTC.
I thought all of that's kind of beautiful and very helpful, very functional. But Pedro, you discovered the killer feature.
It records GIFs.
Oh, jeez.
Actually, I was just trying around, much like Jill. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
let's see the options. Full screen. I can do MP4. Oh, GIF. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, if you just want to
It's
do
real
a quick
nice.
GIF type of situation, you just want to record. Okay, set up the canvas here. You do this, do this, do this. There's 2 megabyte GIF you download. Boom, done.
Okay, I got a legitimate question for both of you. I didn't get a chance to play with this. Sell me on it. What do I actually do with it?
You already have OBS set up to do far more than this.
Yes.
Okay.
This is for people who don't have OBS already set up.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you can
I'm
do,
sitting around
capture your
without
desktop.
OBS. Do I use it for recording? What's the use case, as I'm asking? Because I genuinely
you
didn't
can
get a chance to
use
look
it-
into it.
Yeah, you can use full screen recording, same way that OBS does. You can set up a canvas to only record a portion of the screen. You can basically, just like any WebRTC like Jitsi, the moment you try to share the screen to do either full screen or canvas, it'll go, oh, do you want to give this permission to record your stuff? And yeah, that works very much like the Jitsi screen share and whatnot. But yeah, it is basically for someone who doesn't already have OBS set up, or they don't want to learn OBS for some reason. This is something that they can just have a Chrome extension. There's a Chrome extension for it. It's open source, so if you want to build a Firefox extension, right ahead.
So do you think this would be
Um,
helpful for people in Chromebooks?
Yes,
Yes.
definitely.
This is
definitely.
the way to do it if they don't want to use or
Considering there's no option
Since,
B.
yeah. Well, there are a few other options for screen recording in the Play Store.
Yeah.
This is open source, so it's probably a bit more trustworthy.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Since
And it works on a web page.
we're talking about OBS, there is a brand new, hot, stinky release. 26.0 is out. There's been a couple of RCs. We definitely had a chance to play with them. I've been keeping up with it. Bunch of fixes in this. If you do your Control F, Linux, like what's going on? Oh, well, they've updated the browser source more than 11. I'll let the Pedro talk about that. They fixed an issue with the always on top, sometimes not working with the projectors, and apparently there was an issue with the cameras, with the V4L2 not responding correctly to your pan and tilt controls. So all of that's been sorted. And was there an issue with the preferred language could not be detected correctly? Didn't know that. But there's a gang of bug fixes, all that fun stuff, performance improvements, blah, 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 blah. need you to keep in mind as hard as you can. The only officially, Pedro, where's the only official version of OBS located?
PPA.
PPA? And their website.
Which links you to the PPA.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But yeah, it's I didn't stream yesterday. I didn't use version 26. I did see the update like 2 hours before the stream, and I posted on Discord. I said, no, I do not like to leave dangerously.
No, I told you. You had way too much lead-in time. You needed to wait another 45 minutes, then try to install it. Now, here's a legitimate question that I had for Pedro. Two of the big things that were supposed to be included with 26 on Linux. One, the big one, is the inclusion of the Linux browser. Very common question, you know, like, hey, I've installed OBS. Where's my browser source? Up until
it's there.
This, you had to install the Linux browser plugin, which has been discontinued for like the last 2 years. Is out of date, just barfs memory. But it's included in this now, right?
It is.
PPA.
And I just installed the stable PPA version, and it is there. And I wasn't sure if that was still the plugin, but then I saw the plugin at the bottom of the list, so no, it wasn't. But no, if you actually try to add a new element to the scene, OBS gives you that list of all the other elements that use that, whichever one you picked, and you could just add a copy of it. There were no other elements, despite me having 4 browser sources in that scene. So yeah, no, that's the new thing. That's the browser.
It's pretty nice. That's good. Another thing that has been included is, I did a video on it maybe a month ago, is the RN noise plugin, which is, if you want to do noise removal, you add that as an audio filter. There's always been the speaks, but now RN noise, it's right up there with RTX voice kits. So you can give that, if you have a noisy background, give that a try. Send me some email. Let me know how it works for you. But that's awesome to see. Get out there, test it. OBS is awesome. It's a fantastic project. And just want to give it a mention. So, something I have to do. So you see all these whizzy doodads over here to the right. They're called control surfaces. People think, oh, they're mixers. Nay, they're not. They're just empty hollow boxes that are plugged in that controls software, you know. But it's physical touch controls. There's an entire industry for that, especially with audio, because humans like their knobs. Not making that joke.
You already did.
No, I didn't. You filthy-minded individual. How dare.
Humans like their knobs?
Yeah.
Really?
Knobs. Pedro knobs, like I have on this control surface, for which I was referencing, you filthy-minded individual. Jeez. So
this is Wednesday, not Saturday.
So are you happy? Are you happy now? You've just corrupted everyone listening. So let's talk about this. This is how I control Audor. Audor is the digital audio workstation that I use primarily because, even though it's not for the intended use, hi, I'm Ben. I don't use things for their intended use, for live mixing, and that's what we do. Now, if you wanted, you think about, like, you have like mixers, you know, you get your mixer bars and all that, you would definitely have to, like, controlling that and setting up, you'd be using your mouse. You click on things and, oh, I need to, you know, adjust the gain or whatever, trim volume levels. That's not bad if you're setting it up once, but if you're trying to do it live, that can become a nightmare, especially if you're trying to do a show. You know, only click on one thing at one time. Control surfaces give you controls of all your faders and your knobs or whatever you want to program into it. These are not cheap. So one thing you might not know about Audor is Audor's, with the 6X series, has a web server built into it that you can ring banana phone and pull up a banana control surface. So I wanted to give this a little bit of a mention. This is open stage control. As long as you have a web browser, you got this. You can tie into it, which means you can do it from a tablet. You can do it from your phone. And, you know, all you have to do is enable the OSC in Audor. And boom, give it URL. They'll find it. No place like home. And that's it. That'll give you fader control. You can do trim controls. And they're definitely working on adding some more stuff. I thought that was brilliant. It's really neat. Neither of these two care, but hey, maybe somebody does at home.
It does look neat.
Good for Ven.
That doesn't affect me at all. I already got the hardware. But this could be handy if, okay, so you're doing recording on like stage and you got mix minuses set up for like the guitarist or the bass player and whatever, and your mix minuses, you want to hear everything back but yourself or whatever custom mix. You're like, okay, on your phone, pull this up. Here's your volume, so you can adjust your own volume per individual. I mean, yeah, it's stuff like that. That's brilliant. I like seeing this stuff on Linux because you think something like, hey, what about Xair from Behringer and stuff like that? That's proprietary closed source. We can do this with open source because we're awesome. Yeah. All right. Speaking of proprietary closed source, we need
Microsoft. This one doesn't fall into
Linux,
yeah, it does.
Okay,
well,
I suppose it does, but
it does actually indirectly, yes.
not even a little bit.
Inadvertently.
Yeah.
So Windows XP source code that had already been shared incessantly among some of the most devious actors on the interwebs has now been made public. And yeah, it's basically Windows XP with the Service Pack 1. Is what was leaked. And I am still curious to see, because I've read some of the articles and they say, oh, there's like the source code for Windows Media Player and Windows Media Center and this and that and the other. Okay. How about the NT kernel? Mm-hmm. Is the source code for the NT kernel there? Because I'd like the Wine people to have a look at the NT kernel source and figure out how they're doing things so we could get some
I would rather they didn't, so Microsoft wouldn't have an excuse to go after them in court.
That's the thing. Don't copy anything. Just see how they're doing it so that you can figure out exactly how anti-cheat software is hooking to the kernel.
You don't understand how you have to legally do a clean room implementation. You would get sued out of existence for doing it that way. Cool theory, bro. That's all I'm saying. Don't practice that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. You can't take anything from this. And the Wine Project has definitely walked out and said, we don't work with anybody contacts or stuff like that, because guess what? They don't want a low Earth orbit Sioux cannon to hit them.
Yeah.
So it's all reverse engineered, it's clean roomed, and yeah, stuff like this, I don't know. For archival reasons and morbid curiosity reasons, that's probably cool. I think some people have speculated. They're like, hey, there's no point in rewriting stuff that works. Out of curiosity, how much of this code might still be floating around in Windows 10?
No, definitely.
Most of the NT kernel, right?
Yeah.
Still the same kernel.
Well, for those of us who've been in computing for many, many years, this doesn't surprise any of us a bit, especially since Apple with OS X and Microsoft with Windows and DOS were essentially trying to copy Unix and the Xerox Alto computer. The Xerox Alto was the first computer with a GUI. And like Ven was saying in the notes, it's a good thing that they did because Xerox had no plans to bring it to market. Yeah, they wanted to keep it, open.
They tried to get Xerox to actually make a product out of it. And Xerox is like, look, man, our corporate lead time for a new product development cycle is about 11 years. And they said, no, we're never going to do anything with it. Deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's why they were inviting people, hey, come look at this. Because if you make something cool, you want somebody to do something with it.
Yeah. Well, there's one right in my neighborhood because it was partially developed in my neighbor right next to Torrance, which is El Segundo here in the suburbs of LA at the Xerox plant. So there's one in there at their museum, and it's pretty cool.
Right on. Yeah. Hey, I want to thank each and every one of you for being pretty cool. You're helping us out. That's how we do the show, man. You're the driving force behind that. Supporting us at patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. How was that for a shameless plug, Pedro?
That was very good.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah.
We got merch and stuff like that. If you want to wear us on your bodies, we even have stickers with terribly naughty words on them, and t-shirts.
Heck.
And I need to go ahead and get the Heck Elks beanies out and roll those out because I want one for myself this year. But thanks for letting us do that. And if you do find it in your heart to kick us $1 a week, you do get access to our Discord. We got a custom RSS feed for podcasts. We do an extra show every week just for the people helping us out. And access to game streams. We do a lot of stuff. I'm going to be throwing my adventures in Focusrite Land. That video will probably be up. I'm not going to promise you this week, but you'll get an early crack at it before anyone else to kind of look over it and help me file any rough edges off. But hey, thanks again. Stick around. Your name is going to be in the credits. We got to get into a slice of diabetes. That one looks like it's malfunctioned.
Yeah,
that's a meat pie. Yeah,
I like how both of
looks
them
like a shepherd's pie.
They just can't read. In the bottom right-hand corner, you at home are reading. It says classic apple.
Oh, it's apple. Okay, never mind.
But cool guesses, bro. Cool guesses.
It looks like pecan.
Yeah, it looks like there's meat in there. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got up this week?
Up this week we have Argon 1 M.2 case for the Raspberry Pi 4. And this one, well, what it does is that instead of just taking M.2 PCIe SSDs, it offers M.2 SATA support and full-size HDMI ports, because if you have a Pi 4, chances are you've probably already broken one of the teeny tiny little micro.
That's why they gave you two.
HDMI.
It's a backup.
Yeah, but it's a very nice case. It's
what does that plug with the two USB things have? Is that just
that's the USB pass through?
Oh,
that
okay. I thought
Yeah.
that was just like if you were scared of the color blue, you could go right there.
No, it admittedly, not gonna lie, that looks a bit jank, because that's the pass through that's going from the USB 3 to the M.2 riser card at the bottom. And it build that in. Seriously.
No. So what's NVMe speeds at over 3.0?
3.0, it's like SATA.
Right on.
It's like 300 megabytes a second ish.
So what you're saying is I probably don't want to throw like the hottest Gen 4 into this.
It'll probably work.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't work.
It'll just be a terrible waste, but it'll probably work. But yeah, it's at this point the only thing that case really needs, outside of a better solution for powering the M.2, it's active cooling, because yes, well, the top is all metal and the case itself acts as a pretty good heatsink. Active cooling.
Yes, you've said that.
Yeah. And this case is really awesome, but I still prefer the case from a couple weeks ago that we covered. That's a full gamer case with all the blinkies and fans and everything.
The custom-made 3D printed one, yes.
Yes.
So where does one active the cooling?
They could have easily, see the slotted bit at the back. They could have just put, 0.8
Okay, maybe I misunderstood you. Does this require active cooling or not?
It doesn't, but it's a Raspberry Pi 4.
Thank you,
and it's
Pedro.
hot.
Thank you, Pedro, because I was thinking that you were saying this has active cooling, to which I went,
No.
Where?
I thought where you asked where, it's like it could go on the back, but no, it doesn't have active cooling. It needs it.
No. Don't listen, man. But just get an extension cord, put it in the icebox like a normal person.
Yeah, no. If it had a space, and given how big the slanted top there is, you could put a thin 60 mil fan in there. Mm-hmm. It absolutely could work. So please, because the Pi 4, it gets a bit toasty, like ADC toasty.
Oh, okay. So this is going to be, you can pre-order it currently for 45 watts sneaky cash. So
yep,
that's not outrageous for a Pi case, and it looks like it's well made.
It absolutely isn't.
It looks like it's very well 3D rendered. I should be perfectly honest.
It looks very similar to the previous Argon case. It's not their first sort of dance around Pi cases, and the previous one was very highly regarded as a case that offered a lot of features. Heck, this one actually lets you put in a full-on 2.5-inch SSD in it using the same
Very
janky
nice.
USB pass-through. But
Yeah.
it's
If it fits tight, it'll be fine.
yeah.
So, Pedro, what if I have just discovered refrigerator pie cooling and it's changed my life and I need to tell you about it? What would be the best way?
Well, you can learn, since you're probably in a very hot place, you could probably learn how to send smoke signals. Hopefully, any one of us is close enough to where you are so we can see them.
Did you just try to imply that it's you only have access to fire in warm places?
No, I'm just saying that it's easier.
It's easier to start fires when it's warm, because that's how that. Okay.
Yes. Well, it is.
Pedro, you win. I'm not. My brain refuses to even unwrap that.
Good. But yeah, no, the best way to get in touch with us is to use the contact form, linuxgamecast.com. You hit the contact button and fill the form. Make sure LWDW is the show that you pick. Otherwise,
Make
it
sure
might
you're
be considered
warm so you can drop some spicy words.
No.
Yeah, you need that
Not for
finger
LWW.
dexterity, which if it's cold, it's probably going to be harder to type because your fingers will be stiffer.
Pedro lives in the dark ages where lighters don't exist.
I used to smoke, so I used to carry a lighter with me.
Okay, so, like, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
LWDW is the show that you want to send your feedback to.
Oh, that's what you meant to say. So, last week, Pedro was just doing what he does, giving big Nomi hugs, saying, man, Gnome's so awesome. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I just want to be covered in gnomes. And Mike wrote back and he's like, yo, let me tell you about gnomes, man. Let me tell you about gnomes. He's like, I'm running Gnome 3. I think I might have been. I was like, I don't get Gnome as the desktop. I love what the Gnome project's doing. That moon interface is beyond me. And get off my lawn while I'm yelling at this cloud. So running Gnome 3 on 2004, it's like I generally like it, but I wish I could say I didn't have any issues with extensions because Jill was like, I so many extensions. They've been hit or miss. You know, on the bright side, I've learned how to install extensions from GitHub because GNOME can't seem to cope with the updates. Postscript. P.S. I'm glad Pedro digs the Velcro things, man. Pedro loves Velcro things, man. You should see his suit.
Well, I like these Velcro things. They're very nice.
Yeah.
He likes his hook.
His giant Velcro suit. Keep up the good work, Mike G.
Yay, Mike G.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to that point, I've not experienced it because my 100% legit. I'm not doing this for effect. My total experience with GNOME 3 is opening a terminal and installing XFCE. But
which is probably the best experience anyone can have.
It's not an uncommon thing
or
because I've heard enough internet and enough people say, yeah, you have to install a bunch of extensions if you plan on using it.
Yeah.
That was my whole point. Last week about this was you need the extensions to make GNOME 3 have the same basic functionality that GNOME 2 used to have. So it's good that they're finally paying attention to the extensions because those extensions are the only reason that they have as many users as they currently do.
Well, maybe they need like the basic pack-in extension pack, you know, like, hey.
That's actually very easy to find out nowadays. You just download the default version of Ubuntu and open GNOME tweaks and see, oh, these are the extensions that are installed. Okay, that's your bare minimum.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
we
couldn't
were
hear you.
making
I
the
finished
point.
typing in apt-get access before
we were making the point last week that a lot of these extensions should just be included in the OS. I mean, in the window manager. So I think they're thinking about that over at GNOME, and that's a very good thing.
It'll be interesting.
It's taken a while, but GNOME has improved so much. You know, the speed at which it flows, the visual quality, everything has really, really improved. And I think this is kind of the last big thing if they could tackle that extensions.
Well, hey, if you want to tell us about your speedy flowing liquid desktop, send us a message. But we got to get out of here for today. So I'm going to pull up some music and we're going to roll some credits. Wrong credits.
Uh-oh, yes. Yes, they are. Those are the Linux Gamecast weekly credits from Saturday.
That's okay. It's just a little preview.
This actually...
Yay! All our beautiful executive producers are Theron, Empty, The Atomic Ass, Mike G, Barbrandt, Aldius, Macgeek, Scott, Frostclaw, Haplo, and Foxdog, The Only Tiki. And some of them are in our chat right now. And our beautiful producers.
Seriously, every single one of you are awesome. Thank you. Oh, wait. Now the actual credits begin.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Now we have our LWW credits.
I made them, man. Listen, this is called I Don't Want to Fix It in Post.
It was intentional the whole time. Okay.
No post editing. Just do it now. Yay.
Yes.
Did you two tuck yourselves out on the first set of credits? Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a full minute of first set of credits.
We love you. Keep those penguins marching.
Waddle, waddle, waddle.
Waddle, 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 waddle. Down the road. Speedy penguins. Not so speedy, waddling down the road.
Those penguins can get screwed.
Yay, Pengu.
Fly pie, that's the name of the thing.
Wow.
The flowy, speedy, I'll put the GIF in. Fly pie.
What video game is that?
That's a proposed alternative
No, sweetheart.
way
No,
of navigating.
sweetheart. That's menu navigations. That requires a controller to make sense, is what that does.
Or a touchscreen. That's very much what that's aimed for.
Man, that game sucks. All it does is open a terminal at the end.
That's something that I've always tried to do with the Chromebook, is to not use the touchpad, just use the touchscreen for everything, and whenever I need to type, I'd use a keyboard.
I still have not been able to get used to that.
No, my finger always ends up on the touchpad, and I'm moving the cursor around. It's like, oh, right, I said I wouldn't do this. Never mind.
And I always have to have a USB mouse with me.
Dorks! I control my desktop with a Steam controller like a normal person.
You can do that too.
My Steam controller is used with my games console, which is a mini ITX PC inside an Xbox 360 case.
Hey man, you had that first thought. Everyone did when they first fired up Steam. It was like, oh, I can, wait a minute. Oh, I can use this as a, all right, done. HTTP, boop, there you go. That's where you live now.
Undervolting worked? Nice, okay. So apparently the Noctua L9A, it does have a maximum TDP of 65 watts, but 3700X uses a bit more if you peg it at 100% for several minutes.
What? Oh, you kids with your double-digit wattage. You adorable, adorable kids. I say that. Jackbox is, what is that, 65 watt? Or is it 75 watt TDP?
Yeah.
65
no,
watt?
the 1700 was 95?
No, 1760 I think 65 watt. The X, you might
Wait,
be
did you
thinking
get
of.
the... Oh, okay, you got the 1700, not the X.
Yeah, I
Okay,
waited
right.
because the X came out first. I'm like, hold.
Oh yeah, I've seen the Steam controllers for stupid prices on eBay and Amazon. You could usually, if you go on eBay at the right time, you can get one for like 20 pounds, 30 pounds.
Okay, I was about to say, because I have a new one in box.
Go on eBay. Go have a look.
Yeah. Oh,
people
the party
have gone a
pack
bit...
7.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
Okay.
Buy it now, $90.
Oh wow! Oh my gosh! Look at that. Back when I bought a couple when they were only $5.
$80, $70.
But
Yeah,
how many of
aren't they
these have
nice?
sold?
Yeah.
Click on the sold.
Yeah,
Scroll
there,
down
and I
all the
got
way
their-
down and on the left. Click on the completed items.
Show
Yeah, I got the
only.
Jackbox email at my Linux Gamecast account because when you signed up with them, they gave you 10 to 20% off, I think, of the game, which is nice.
And there's another for 80. That
but
one sold for
that's a
35.
week.
Okay. 90. Do you see now?
20.
No dongle.
You don't.
Oh yeah, Ellen, I got mine. I got 2 of them actually for $5. Yeah, and I was surprised because I think because I ordered later or something. I don't. Well, it wasn't that later. I think it was just before the deadline.
Well, they just had them open until they were out. I think it was about, what, 2 days?
But
3
a lot of
days?
people who ordered earlier didn't get them, and some of the people that ordered later got them. It was weird.
I ordered one because I'm not a hoarder, even though now I have 2. But I have a new one in box, just in case. I ordered the hey, if it breaks, I'll be sure to record a video of like, oh look, I bet this was worth something. Rip.
Who was it that did? I don't think it was one of the mainstream tech channels that did a teardown of the Steam controller. Apparently, it's surprisingly serviceable.
All right.
There's no glue, basically.
Oh boy, Steve Husband, that's an old picture. What?
You
I
can't tell
remember.
where the laptop ends and the kitty begins.
I don't know what type of laptops you have. Mine don't have legs.
That's my ThinkPad Edge. I believe.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
while you were bringing up your ThinkPad, I was looking at the shelf. It's like, I have an IBM T42 ThinkPad, and I have a Lenovo X240 ThinkPad.
Yeah, the 240.
But there's a keyboard currently across the laptops.
You should have seen his face, man. He was biting his lip. He was thinking.
It's like, can I do it?
Oh, can you get
No.
it? Yeah, get up and get it. Yeah, Kitty's not allowed around my computers, but that was in the living room where I often do my test installs of distros. So that machine is one of my test machines.
What's that Amazon link? I see it's got the dead badger at it. Is it? Do they make a book or a document?
I think it's the book.
Oh yeah.
You know, paperback,
Manual.
Kindle, or audiobook
Yeah.
is free with Audible trial.
Voodoo Linux.
Yeah, I've seen that book before.
A31P. You know, Justin, you live in the US, right? The shipping would be just murder, so no.
$120 to send Pedro a microphone. That's $80.
I had to pay, on top of what Jordan already paid for the shipping when he sent me the T. Brown Memorial microphone to Portugal, I had to pay another 65 euros on top of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Jordan can send me stuff all day long? Doesn't cost anything.
The other way around, not so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he sends it through Canadian mail,
Yeah.
like their government mail, No duties, nothing. It just shows up. I was looking into that when I was bidding on the Apugi Ensemble in Canada and Toronto. I was like, I need to research this because I don't want, like, oh yes, by the way, it'll be $200.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, keep it. So, all right, that ran good.
Oh, Kitty's updating. Yeah, that's when they stand very still.
Isn't that cute?
You gotta go shopping for Halloween decorations.
Yeah, a lot of the stores are open.
Freshen up some of the spider webs.
That's the odd thing. Last year, Tesco's around this time already had a bunch of Halloween stuff up.
Yeah.
Not this year.
Yeah, it's funny because some places they're trying to encourage it and some aren't. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, no, we're not going to have a
I
normal
wonder
Halloween.
if it's a little bit of that or a little bit of, well, we're too busy restocking on accounts of the whole new lockdown thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't know, man. I just want to get some more newer house decorations for 2021 coming up.
What stores are you going to, Ven?
Ones that are open.
Do you have a specific Halloween store you go to?
I don't go to Halloween
there
stores. All they do is sell cheap knockoff. Not knockoff, but just like the cheap junk.
Yeah, well, there's some really high-end ones. Like we have a Stats here that decorates and they sell the stuff that you would see in studios and whatnot. Very expensive, though.
Didn't Toys R Us go under?
I think they did.
Yeah.
They used to have, nice Halloween stuff, but yeah.
They
went
did,
under,
actually.
So.
Ordered a shirt.
Oh, I saw the skeleton t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, with all the skeletons all over it. That was very Ven. And it's polyester, so it's going to
Celebrate
be hot.
Frank.
Remember, kids, you don't want warm clothing in October.
Not
It's
here
not
in
cold
Cali,
enough
no.
to wear warm clothing. Think Wiki. I have spent so much time browsing through your pages.
Think Wiki?
It's the ThinkPad.
Oh, okay,
Wiki.
all right.
It's basically got a bunch of different models.
I was confused, man. I thought it was like educational material. I'm like, what are you doing?
It is just, it's probably not interesting to everyone. But yeah, I looked up the A31P that Justin mentioned. And yeah, if you want to get like Linux working on an old ThinkPad that requires like NVRAM stuff and custom firmware for certain specific things, that's where you go. You want like a custom BIOS for your T42, so
Yes.
it takes all of the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth cards that you'd like. That's where you go.
I just like that Steve crushes on me so hard that he's got a picture of it handy.
Oh no, I think Steve has probably built a shrine to all of us somewhere where Jill can't see.
Oh, yeah.
Where
It's
at?
just his thing.
He's not going to
missing
tell you,
something.
Joe. Yeah, brick and mortar is, I don't think it's coming back, kids. Because the people who were like, I don't like ordering out, they've learned now.
Yeah. Well, Toys R Us was having issues way before the pandemic anyways.
Oh, yeah.
And that was, affected Steven, of course, his work, so he knows all about that story. And they had to transition. They were already starting to sell a lot of stuff online, Mattel. But, Toys R Us was one of their biggest sellers. And, of course,
Yeah.
now it's Walmart and Target and the stores that are left.
Yeah, now it's going to be the places that also sell food. Because
Yeah.
those,
Yes.
for the time being, are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to grab something to drink. We'll probably hang out for about another 9 minutes. And
Okay.
I'm gonna start
Pedro,
drawing
does
some balls and
does
balls.
Tesco sell Mattel toys? I don't think I knew that.
It's got the one here. It's a Tesco superstore, but it's a really tiny superstore. There's a
okay.
bigger one in City Center.
I see. It's like it's kind of like Walmart where they have different
Yeah.
sizes.
But they
Grocery
have
store, mega store.
your selection of Action Men and Barbies, and that's GI Joes for everyone else in the U.S.
Yes.
Yeah, no, there's a few Mattel toys there. There's also, I guess, Nerf is its own thing. There's a bunch of Nerf guns.
Yeah, they're
There's
made
some
by
Lego.
Mattel too. Nerf.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah. most of the small toy companies are owned by Mattel now. Yeah, Steven sometimes has. They would have Nerf wars at work.
All right.
I think he actually worked on one of the guns. Is that right, Steven? Or in your group they worked on one of those Nerf guns. He's in girls' toys, but he's done boy toy
guess
stuff
not.
too. Nope.
Yeah, the selection of toys is pretty limited, but there's one thing that's even more limited, which is if you need any kind of computer hardware. You have like 2 different models of keyboards that are stupidly overpriced. A couple of different combos with like wireless mice and keyboards, which are the cheapest possible ones that they've put a stupid markup on that you can get for £1 on eBay. So don't. Yeah,
okay.
no, it's last resource, I guess.
Yeah. No, Steve was saying it's not Nerf, it's Boomco, and I get confused between those because they create a lot of the same. Boomco, was making the guns bigger and better, and the water guns and whatnot. So
I don't think they have any Boomco in Tesco, but yeah, no, there's a bunch of Nerf guns.
Nerf warfare.
Yeah.
I still have my original Nerf gun from the 70s. It's actually quite valuable now.
Super Soakers. Yes.
Yeah.
It was only the rich
That's
kids
got
in
full
Portugal.
articulation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it spins.
Only the rich kids in Portugal had the Super Soakers. Everyone else had the budget ones. Which,
Soaker.
if you pumped a little too much pressure, the tank would just shoot out.
Darn it. Yeah, Super Soakers weren't a thing when I was a kid. It wasn't until later that those came out, but
Yeah, it was an
I
80s
enjoyed
thing.
playing with them. Yeah, I enjoyed playing that with them with my nephew.
Yeah, no, Super Soakers. Even last time I was in Portugal, January, there was a store at my hometown that had Nerf guns, including the one I have, which is like basic model, £10 off Amazon type of situation. It was €50.
Yeah. That sounds about right, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Some of them are $100.
Yeah, they're $100 at a proper price, which means that if you were to go at that place and find one, it's like, oh, that's €500.
I had one kind of like that. It had the reservoir in the back and it had the dual tanks, but the barrel broke. It's quite unfortunate. You can only hit people with it so many times. Listen, man, when you run out of water, you still got to win.
No, when you run out of water, you drop the Super Soaker and you grab the hose.
Drill holes in walls again. Yay.
The really cheap one I had was, if I pumped it a little too much, the tank would just shoot. Like,
That would have been a way to do it.
Oh, nice.
You could just fill that up with some Vodak and Diet Coke. Take care of itself.
It's like, are you carrying any drinks? Nah, just a super soaker. That's it. Okay.
Thanks for watching, Justin. Yeah, I hope you feel better.
Bye, Justin.
That's about it. What do you got for dinner tonight?
Already had dinner. Nori was feeling hungry, so we had dinner before the show. So
Okay.
Oh, that's
it was
convenient.
chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets. Did you have some ketchup and honey mustard?
No. I had mayo and
Mayo.
sriracha. Yes.
Let's find out what that stream delay is, kids.
Yeah.
It's a dip. You dip it in the mayo and the sriracha. Take a bite.
It's a salad dressing.
It's a sauce. Made out of
Steve husband,
eggs
what
and
do you
oil.
want tonight?
Yeah, Steve,
we
what are you
haven't
bringing
talked
home tonight?
But yeah, no, whenever we have bread that's about to go stale, just put god damn it, what's the thing called?
Words.
Yes, the grater.
Just
Run the very hard bread across the grater to create.
I'm more
teeny tiny
interested
little
in the
bits.
other options that you were working with before you decided on grater.
A bunch of names came to my head of like different appliances, but no, it's not a blender. No, it's not. I can't even remember the other one now.
The linguistic
I had
Rolodex.
just a bunch of names popping in my head. It's like grater. But yeah, just get all the teeny tiny little crumbs. Dip the cut the chicken breasts into about nugget size. Throw it in the egg, throw it in some flour, throw it in the egg again, and throw it into the breadcrumbs. Put them in oven tray, and away we go.
Right on.
Yeah, so I gotta go eat lunch, and I'll either, I could go get us dinner tonight. Walk to the Tender Greens or something.
Why would you want to blink again?
I don't know, but I was looking at the RGB nerf too. Admittedly, my brain likes the shinies, so and that's shiny.
From Halo, Mir says.
It's not as reckless as, did you see that Arthur had posted that, like, RGB microphone?
Yeah, the
yeah.
HyperX.
I went looking at the specs on that thing. 16-bit DAC. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Amazon Basics level USB microphone.
For being generous.
Just sell it at $100. That's fine. The gamers will buy it.
That's what they're counting on. It's like you don't put set dressing on something that's good because people will buy it because it's good.
Hello there, generic black microphone, AT2020.
We're not going to go out as somebody who owns an AT20. They work.
Yeah.
Ah.
Entry level, you want to get USB microphone to just get started.
Don't get a USB microphone, because then you're always going to be stuck with that USB microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you're just getting started, unless you want to go on eBay, find an MBox 2, and then get the XLR version.
You get the MBox 2, then you get a $20 microphone. But see, that's his thing, man. Because if this was a Shure, this would be something that would be production quality. But it'd still look like this, and it's like, hey, but it's not big. It won't look good on my camera. What?
Yeah.
I don't need a custom $25 shock mount to hold it.
Exactly. I won't look like I'm pro. I don't care what it sounds like. Just give me something like a big can. And unfortunately, well, I guess fortunately for them, businesses are more than happy to sell you the most craptastic microphone any large can. Like, yeah, sure.
Like those golden podcasting microphones that they have on Amazon.
16-bit is resolution on compact disc from the 80s.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Really, really old CD.
What I'm saying is like a $45 MBox 2 is at least 24-bit. And you're talking about your resolution, like we're recording 32-bit, and we're like, but the human ear can only hear the 24-bit, which is true, but those 8 extra bits basically give me a dynamic range that's infinite, so no one can ever clip. And get really loud and be crazy. And going out to you, I'm sending it as just 48, 24-bit. But being 32, I can always smash that down, and I'm not losing any audio information when I'm bringing it down, and it doesn't distort at any point. So that's my oversimplification of it, just in case Alan's getting ready to type something.
Which he has been doing. And now he stopped.
That's try to put it in a digestible manner for somebody who's like, what's the bit? Like, okay, real quick.
There was someone who put a video on YouTube with the different bits. They had audio samples in different bits. It's like, I don't know what YouTube is going to do to this, so I'm going to need you to go to the description and download the files and play them yourself.
Well, this was my favorite YouTube question from today.
Yeah.
You gotta schmuck plus exit, man.
I don't know, even a budget DAC these days is going to be 120, 128 minus 128 noise floor. I mean, even cheap stuff is reasonably quiet. But yeah, you can't run a tar.gz. You can try.
Seriously, someone try it. chmod plus x a tar.gz and then try to run it. I need to know.
Do it as
Oh,
sudo.
jeez.
I don't know.
It's for science.
It was that question followed by somebody who's like, hey man, I can't figure out how to make it. I think he was asking about the Behringer FCA 1660 I have back there in the rack. And he's like, I've been trying for a year and I can't get it to do the multi. And I'm really upset. So if I don't figure this out, I'm going to quit Linux. It was said in the low-key threat. I'm like, you better help me.
Very, very thinly veiled.
Yeah, you better help me or I'm just going to quit Linux. Bye. If you've been running that for a year and you haven't discovered how to set up Jack, I'm not going to be able to help you, kid.
Yeah.
What's SNR?
Crickets.
Signal noise ratio.
Okay.
Bye, Steve
Bye,
husband.
Steve.
I don't want to do maths. Have a good one, Steve.
Greater than 144? Like, are you talking like consumer stuff? You got to narrow this down. Because, like, does anything like that? Yes. Stuff that mean you were going to buy? But everything. Oh, Thursday. We're going to be doing Left for Bread, 5:30. My time.
Okay. Yeah, that's much better time, yes.
I'm reminding you,
10:30
Jordan,
for
just
me,
in case you got us on this background noise. So, so me and Pedro are like, where's Jordan? We're going to be going through that Chempagon, getting it recorded. It's going to be a thing. So that'll be 9:30 UTC?
10:30.
10:30. Or we have
Because
5
it's
hours?
still daylight savings. It's 5 hours out.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you guys drop out of daylight savings at some point.
It's 8:37 UTC right now. So 4 hours.
Oh, right. UTC isn't affected by daylight savings. GMT,
That's
then.
why it's
5
UTC. I've been hanging out with Pedro too long, man. Pedro's making me question myself.
I work in GMT. UTC was made up a couple of years ago, okay?
All right, beautiful people. I gotta go
Bye,
make a show.
everyone. Love you. Bye, Barb.